Here's a very simple processing technique that I thought I'd share with you in relation to dodging and burning. So to start with, what I'm going to do is just create a copy of my original image by pressing Command and J, and then I'm going to come across to my Channels panel and just left click on the Channels panel. Now I'm only interested in this very top icon here that's in colour, and what I need to do is just click Command on this image and left mouse click at the same time, and then what will happen is a selection will be made of all of the brighter areas within the image, and I'm just going to copy this by pressing Command J, which will make another layer, and I'm going to come back to my layers panel, and where it says layer 2, that's the layer that I've just created, and I'm just going to name that screen and press return. And then I'm going to come back to the channels panel again, and I'm going to do the same thing again. So I'm going to press Command left mouse click to make a selection, but this time I want to select the darker areas, so I'm just going to come up to the select panel up here, and I'm just going to click inverse, and then I'm going to click Command J to make another layer copy of that, and then I'm going to come back to my layers panel, and I'm just going to click on here, and I'm going to rename this multiply and just hit return. What we need to do now is this multiplier layer is selected because it's highlighted in blue, and we need to come over to the blend mode window and just left click on here, and I'm just going to come down to where it says multiply and then just left click on there. And what's happened is this multiply layer has actually created a multiply blend mode. So if I click on here, which is my opacity window, and just click this slider, if I slide this all the way to the left, it will decrease the darkness, so it's taking me back to the original image. So I'm just going to slide this roughly to about 50%, and then I'm going to click on my screen mode, and again I'm going to come up to the blending mode window and just click on screen, and now I've got the opposite. So if I just turn off the dark layer, the multiply layer, and I'm now in the screen layer, which is the sort of the lighter tones within the image, I can do the same thing again. So by clicking on my opacity window and on this slider, if I slide this down to the left, it will take the highlights back to the original image, and if I take it to the right, it will increase the highlights. So I'm just going to put this to 50% as well, and I'll turn back on my multiply layer, and then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to just kind of like tweak these sliders until I get a look that I'm quite happy with. So if I take this down to probably about 40% in terms of the highlights, and then if I click back on my screen, I'll probably add a little bit more darkness, so maybe 70%. So let's just click off the multiply, and I can see what effect that's having, and the same with the highlights. I can see what effect my highlights are having, and if I click off all of them, that's my original image. So quite happy with the way that looks. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to merge all of these layers into one. So I'm just going to hold the command key down and select the multiply, the screen, and my copy of my original layer, and then by pressing Command D, that will merge all of those layers together. So now I can turn this layer off, and I can see the difference between my original image and the image that I've just created with that. It's kind of like those two blend mode layers. So my original image, and then when I turn the multiply layer back on with the screen layer, I've just got a bit of a better image. So just a very quick, simple way to do some very simple dodging and burning, and it provides a really good starting point for future dodging and burning.